My name is Elena Hart, and I am 10 years old. I live in the small town of Bramblewood, California, where the rolling hills are often illuminated by the bright Californian sun, and the streets are dotted with cheerful, welcoming neighbors. My life should be filled with carefree moments, laughter, and the everyday adventures of elementary school, but lately, things have not felt that way. I am in fourth grade, and somehow I have become the target of not one, but two mean people. It all started with a boy in my class named Eric. Eric was the kind of kid who thought it was funny to shove other kids or make fun of them during recess. He was allowed to get away with it because our math teacher, Mrs. Clarks, thought he was a perfect angel. She adored him, even when he was throwing insults my way or pushing me to the ground during gym class. You see, Mrs. Clarks is not just any teacher. She is overly religious, and because of her beliefs, she has a very specific outlook on right and wrong. Whenever I stood up for myself or tried to tell her what was really happening, she would stare down at me through her thick glasses with a look of pure disdain, muttering under her breath that I was the devil. That phrase cut sharper than any bully's words. It didn't just hurt, it made me feel like an outcast, marooned on an island of judgment where all the eyes were on me. I was no longer just a little girl. I was labeled with something dark, something scary, something that I was not. Just when I thought I could escape the torment, a terrible incident happened. During gym class, while we were playing tag, Eric thought it would be a brilliant idea to shove me into the bleachers for no reason. I lost my balance and fell hard. The pain surged through my arm, and I could feel the heat of embarrassment creeping up my cheeks. But instead of crying, I felt something ignite inside me. I grabbed my arm, which was already wrapped in a cast, and turned around. In my mind, I thought, I will end this once and for all. So, in a moment of fury, I swung my cast like a baseball bat. I was stopped by Ms. Miller, the gym teacher, but not before Eric had a look of sheer shock on his face. Of course, Mrs. Clarks was not pleased. After that day, she treated me like I was less than human, reminding me of how much I fit her label as the devil. The days dragged on as I endured the glares from Eric and the smirks from my classmates. But instead of letting the weight of my misery crush me, I decided to take some creative action. Something came over me. It was my turning point, and I began to plan. For 2 weeks, I gathered a list of every psychic service, tarot reading, and medium I could find online. I imagined her horror when she discovered each email confirmation sent to her school account. The more I thought about it, the more delight I felt. I pictured her reaction, eyes wide, mouth agape, hand clutching her chest in disbelief. It became my secret little mission, and I was determined to see it through. So, once the dust settled from the gym incident, I went into action. Using her school-issued email, I signed her up for everything I could find. I had no fear of being caught because I was clever and cautious, ensuring each subscription was in her name. I paid careful attention in class, masking my smirk behind a sweet smile. Every interaction with her became a game, each cheerful encounter sharpening my resolve. I was laying it on thick, and she had no idea I had turned into the most playful little trickster. I looked her in the eye and saw the flickering emotions. Was that nerves creeping in? To add salt to the wound, I started to help Eric with math, purposely leading him in the wrong direction while I watched his grades dip. As the days went by, the tensions between us began to spiral, and I relished every moment. The power of my little rebellion felt exhilarating, like I was finally taking control of my own story after feeling so helpless for so long. Then came the day when I overheard Mrs. Clarks talking to another teacher in the staff room. She was complaining about the ridiculous new email protocols that had been put in place. She had been receiving so many bizarre emails that the administration decided to tighten security. I could not help but smile as I listened to her frustrations. The little plans I concocted were working, and somehow it all felt so right. But the real joy came when I saw Eric's face when his test scores plummeted from failing to the worst of the worst. He was furious, and for the first time I saw a glimmer of fear in him. My small acts of rebellion had turned the tables. No longer did I feel like a victim, I felt powerful. My actions might not have changed the way Mrs. Clark saw me, but they gave me the strength I had needed. As the weeks rolled by, I found a new normal. I learned that even the smallest deeds could lead to surprisingly big results. While the adults in my school often seemed oblivious, I felt as though I had become the hero of my own story. No, I would not allow myself to be pushed down again. I was a young girl who could stand up against bullies and who could fight back with cleverness and a little bit of mischief. And just when I thought all was well, I received an email on my account from one of those psychic services I had signed Mrs. Clark's up for. Curiosity took over, and I opened it. It was a message addressed to her, speaking of how the universe often places obstacles in our path to teach us valuable lessons. In that moment, I realized that I had not just affected her, I had changed myself for the better. My challenges had awakened a spirit I did not even know existed within me, leaving me with a heart ready to face whatever came next. In the end, the real revenge was not about making others suffer, but instead about uncovering my true strength while still managing to carry a smile on my face. As I walked out of that classroom one sunny day, I knew that I would always carry this experience with me. Life is full of ups and downs, and it is how we choose to respond that defines our character. There may be new challenges ahead, but I would face them head on, with courage and maybe just a little bit of playful mischief.